Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we're once again going to be talking about the character of Jay, who is heavily implied and rumored to be the focus ninja for the next year of Ninjago, otherwise known as Season 16, or depending on who you talk to, Season 15. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be referring to this upcoming Ninjago storyline as Season 16. I know that might cause some controversy, but for me it's just a little simplistic, and it makes the most sense. But yeah, what exactly is going to be going on with Jay in the next season of Ninjago, if he is indeed going to be the focus character? Well, due to some recent evidence brought to us by Target, of all places, you know, the major department store / retailer Target, yeah, they actually provided us a little bit of a clue as to what we can expect for next year. And I do feel like, under the right circumstances, we could see Jay following a similar path to Nia from Seabound, in which he will make an extremely large sacrifice at the cost of his own mortal body. We're going to be getting into that later on. I do have a bit of a theory regarding that statement, so stay tuned. But first of all, what exactly is this Target ad? What exactly am I talking about? So obviously LEGO, being a big company, would like major retailers to promote and sell their products. As such, LEGO sends retailers like Target the products, and they include various advertisements to go with them. Target in turn puts out the sets and the advertisements, and both companies benefit when a product actually sells. And I've already talked about that in a couple of other videos on the channel. But what's peculiar about these Target ads is that they feature a version of Jay which has not yet been seen in the context of the show or the sets, which is very interesting right away. Several people have seen this ad at this point, but if you guys have not seen it just yet, I would recommend checking it out using the link down below in the description. That'll bring you over to my Instagram page and you can check out the image for yourself. I don't want to risk my channel and my livelihood right now, so yeah, feel free to check it out in the description down below. I will not be showing it in today's video. Now, because this advertisement features Jay as the primary Ninjago face, if you will, I think it's safe to say that Jay will indeed be the focus ninja next year, and as such, we could expect a big storyline coming from him. But where exactly does this sacrifice come into play? What about this Target ad even remotely suggests that Jay could indeed sacrifice himself in a similar style to Nia in Ninjago Seabound? Well, of course, the actual advertisement itself features a brand new version of Jay, like I said. Nobody has ever seen this version of Jay before. It appears to be a new powered up or new elementally charged version of Jay, which again is very peculiar. It is kind of similar to some other things that we've seen prior in Ninjago, such as, for example, Forbidden Spinjitzu. The comparisons between this minifigure and Forbidden Spinjitzu is very much apparent. For one, both the Forbidden Spinjitzu ninja from Season 11 and this new version of Jay use the exact same mask piece. It is the exact same hood that we got during Season 11, just radiating with elemental energy. And also, this version of Jay looks like he could very well be powered up, similar to how those Forbidden Spinjitzu figures actually looked when Season 11 was coming out. I've also seen comparisons to the Spinjitzu Burst as well, you know, in terms of the immense radiation of elemental power, but I feel like, and I've already established this in other videos, that this will indeed be a new power altogether, and as such, we could even see Jay unlock some type of new elemental power during Season 16, in a similar way to Nia. Now, if you guys remember the finale of Seabound, Nia essentially merged with her own elemental power, giving herself a new form. Unfortunately, she is not able to revert back from that form, at least in terms of what we know right now. It is possible that Nia could very well return in the future, but I've already talked about that in great detail in other videos. I'm just saying we saw Nia do that, and of course that was presumably an ability that only Masters of Water could actually comprehend and utilize. But what if that's not the case? What if we eventually see that type of power used for other elements? In a similar way to the Spinjitzu Burst, theoretically it seems like other elemental users could indeed use that type of power. Maybe not in the exact same way of Nia merging with her own water power, but perhaps we could even see something similar. Maybe we could see a new and improved NRG version of Jay, if Jay eventually does merge with his elemental power of lightning and creates this new Jay form that we can see from the Target advertisements. Is this even possible? Could we indeed see something like this? I've seen this be suggested before by various members of the community, and I do indeed feel like this is a more likely option, that this new power that Jay is showcasing in this new Target ad is in fact a new power and not a returning one, not Forbidden Spinjitzu and not a Spinjitzu Burst. And like I said, despite this power being similar on paper to that of Seabound's Nia transformation, I feel like it would be extremely different because, once again, lightning is a different element than water. And maybe that's possible. Maybe Jay will be merging with his elemental power similar to Nia. But once again, why would he do that? Let's talk about it. So the first thing that comes to mind is that perhaps he will be using this new power to battle a new villain. Now I do have an idea as to what that could look like too. We know that the Vengestone buyer arc is pretty much on its way out. The Vengestone buyer arc has been teased throughout several of Ninjago's recent seasons, all the way back to Master of the Mountain. Since then, we've seen various hints and clues, especially last season during Seabound. We saw a truck full of Vengestone being hauled off to an unknown location in the first couple of episodes of the actual season of Seabound, meaning that the Vengestone buyer is coming. Now maybe the ninja need to go beyond their normal capabilities regarding their elemental powers. Remember, Vengestone as a concept blocks out and restricts elemental powers. However, how much is too much for Vengestone to handle? Perhaps in order to defeat the Vengestone buyer, or a villain comprised of pure Vengestone perhaps, the ninja need to go beyond their own traditional power set and unlock something greater, and perhaps we can see that specific ninja be Jay. I could totally see that happening, because if there is indeed a villain that utilizes Vengestone, the ninja will not be able to do much about that unless they unlock a new type of power, something that goes beyond the containments of Vengestone, and something that could defeat that. And like I said, due to some recent Target ads, I feel as though Jay could be the one to accomplish this goal. Now in terms of Jay actually sacrificing himself, I feel like he would honestly want to do that at this point. Following Nia's sacrifice in Ninjago Seabound, it was very apparent that Jay would be the most affected. I have a feeling that we will see both Jay and Kai showcasing a lot of grief and regret later on in the next year for Ninjago, but Jay I feel like will have a very different reaction than Kai. While Kai might resort to anger and violence, Jay will most likely shut down, and I feel like we will see him very much down on his luck when the next season of Ninjago does indeed start up. Because Nia basically went off on her own following the events of Seabound, I feel like Jay could very much miss her in the next season. We know that Nia is still alive, and the ninja know that she's still alive, but she's not here, she's something else entirely. We could tell from the ending of Seabound that Nia became a different person altogether, meaning that Jay would most likely miss the old Nia, and miss their relationship, and as such maybe he'd want to reach her level. Eventually towards the ending of the season, if the ninja do find themselves in an extremely sticky situation, maybe Jay could get them out of it by actually doing what Nia did, fusing with his own elemental power in order to get past something greater. And if the villain is using Vengestone, then I could totally see Jay needing to go past what Vengestone's capabilities are, and using this new boost of electricity to get past the Vengestone buyer, to overwhelm the Vengestone itself. Maybe we could see this happening. I feel like if Nia isn't coming back, Jay would probably go to her. Of course, it's not really confirmed right now as to whether or not Nia will indeed return. It is heavily implied that Nia will indeed return, and in all likelihood I do feel like that is going to happen, but let's just say for a second that Nia will only return with Jay. I feel like if Nia is not going to be able to revert back to her human form, then after Jay overcomes this new transformation, he and Nia could finally be together again and go off on their own to parts unknown. They would still be together, but they would no longer be human. They would no longer be ninja. They would be something else entirely. I feel like that's a very happy ending for Jay and Nia to actually showcase and accomplish. Of course, there are indeed things in the Ninjago timeline that do indeed contradict this idea, and like I said, it very much is likely for Nia to come back eventually, as that was heavily implied to be the case, but I feel like this would make for a very happy ending between Jay and Nia, and would finally solidify their relationship. Imagine two elemental beings comprised of pure elemental power. They would finally be together for all of eternity, as they would finally be one. They would be the same, and they wouldn't be apart anymore following Nia's sacrifice in Ninjago Seabound. And even though I feel like Ninjago would not do this, and like I said, there is contradictory information regarding this theory, I do feel as though this would make for an extremely happy ending for both Jay and Nia alike. But like I said, I doubt this is going to happen. For one, if Jay does indeed leave the team and follow in Nia's footsteps, then the ninja team would be down to only 4 members, which isn't really that far-fetched of an idea. That is, of course, how the ninja team started with only 4 members, but they would be missing 2 key components of their respective team. Both Jay and Nia would be gone, and they are both fan-favorite characters, so I'm not sure if Ninjago would indeed go that route. Also, we have various things in the Ninjago timeline that do indeed contradict this. The most famous thing is the reflections from possession. Even though those are obviously subject to change and not guaranteed anymore, I feel like a lot of people would point to those reflections as being contradictory of this statement. Technically, Jay and Nia would be together, but if they're both going to be elemental beings, then there's no way that they would even look remotely close to their normal selves. And also another thing, if Jay is going to be following a similar sacrifice to Nia, that is of course merging with his elemental power, then why do the new Jay minifigure and the NRG Nia figure from Seabound look so different? You would think if it's the exact same power, then maybe they would look a little similar. However, in response to to that, I do need to mention that both lightning and water are completely different elements. Who knows what Jay would look like if he fused with his power of lightning? It could be extremely different to that of Nia. But like I said, I think there is just too much going against this theory, but I still wanted to make a video regarding it. Even though I feel like Jay enacting some type of NYA-level sacrifice is extremely likely considering what his character will be following Seabound, I don't think it's likely in the context of Ninjago itself. There is too much going on right now, and also considering how Nia sacrificed herself last season, it would seem kind of repetitive and a little, I guess, disrespectful to her sacrifice, all things considered. I feel like Jay will just be feeling the effects of Nia's sacrifice following Ninjago's Seabound, and maybe Jay will unlock a different power later on in the next season, maybe towards the conclusion. Either way, I feel like Jay unlocking some type of new power is inevitable and very likely. I do feel as though a sacrifice would be a little redundant. So in terms of whether or not I think Jay will be sacrificing himself next season, I really don't think so, even though it would personally make a fair bit of sense to me. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this idea. Do you feel like we could be seeing Jay sacrifice himself next season in a similar way that Nia sacrificed herself, or do you feel like we will just not see another sacrifice for a long while? Leave all your thoughts down below, you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.